This is like one of those things that everybody theoretically agrees, right? Everybody likes new bridges, new roads, no potholes, new telecom, but it never really seems to happen. So what actually needs to happen to deliver this time?
So the president's speech before Congress last week, I think, was a very good step forward, but it was a political speech. So he laid out a whole range of topics, and it's very hard to disagree with his budgetary priorities. Who wouldn't like lower taxes, stronger defense, and better infrastructure, not to mention sustainable social safety net? Mm-hmm. The issue is the mathematics behind all that, the compromises that are going to have to be made. On the infrastructure side, I can tell you, I just came back from 2 weeks abroad. I've been out of the country 4.5 weeks so far this year, so almost half or better than half. The infrastructure in Europe is miles ahead of the infrastructure in the United States. The airports are clean, the roads are paved. Nobody would question the need for infrastructure upgrade here. $1 trillion is a lot of money. It's 20 times the amount of the budget increase for defense, which frankly I'm not sure is necessary. We'll talk about that if you like in a second. I think we need more money in non-defense, winning the peace resources, diplomatic resources, than we do in winning the war. Our military is 3 times the size of the second largest in the world. We've got the world's greatest military. That's not an issue. On the infrastructure side, President Trump's language has changed and become more specific, which is a large, and I think constructive part of what's going on here. The evolution of the language, of the narrative, of the concepts from the campaign into the governing. What President Trump is now talking about is enabling $1 trillion of infrastructure investment, not necessarily investing it all from the government's resources. So you have an open door signal to public-private partnerships, right, which will bring in private capital and infrastructure investment. And the government's share of the contribution to seed this infrastructure, a decent amount of it, I think, can come from the repatriation tax on overseas profits to bring them back to the United States. So I actually think that it's starting to shape up in a way that could potentially be viable. And my view is infrastructure should become a significant priority, even though it's way behind the Social Security, social safety net.
That may be the case, and of course we've seen the previous administration put a lot of focus on infrastructure as well with the shovel-ready campaign and all. Yet when it comes down to it, it's so difficult to actually funnel the money to the project that needs to get built right away. Why is that? Why is it so difficult for folks to identify the right project and to get it started and to complete it?
When you're going through government appropriation and contracting, it's always slow. You're going through bureaucracy, you're going through politics. If you do this through public-private partnerships, I believe it's going to happen much more quickly. If you engage the private sector in the infrastructure development process and have the government seed projects in priority, I think there's a real potential for some momentum to take place here, and it'll be great.